Hey everyone, my name is Nigel Bajos, and today I'm going to be giving you a quick review of the GH3 15.7 inch camera slider. So recently I found myself needing a camera slider for a short video that I was going to do for a leather company, and I decided that I was going to go on the cheap end. I didn't really want to spend a lot of money on a camera slider, so I started looking around on Amazon to see what was available, and I found this guy. This is the GH3 camera slider. It's 15.7 inches, which I think is a perfect size because this can fit in your backpack pretty easily. I'm using a newer S2 video head. I did a review on these video heads. You can check those out right there. So I'm using this smaller video head on it, and one of the cool things about this camera slider is that the rods, or the sliding rails, are carbon fiber. So they're really light, and then on the ends it actually has 1/4-20 and 3/8 tapped holes there, so you can put either a quick release or it could be potential to rig some kind of time-lapse motor onto it. And what's really cool is that this camera slider, it doesn't use friction, it uses bearings that hug the actual rails here on the side, so that makes it really smooth. Like, this is like buttery smooth, and there really isn't that much drag adjustments. Like, you can turn this a little bit and kind of give it a little bit of drag, but I honestly wouldn't use it like that. I just like to unscrew this and then just try to use my hands to get a nice slide. So that's really the only downside that I found right off the bat, is that it doesn't have any like drag adjustments, to make it slower when you slide it. But like right out of the bag, it's like perfectly smooth, and this is going to be way better than your friction-based sliders, even better than the slider that I reviewed for 35 bucks. I'll put that review over there. But again, this one is $47. And that's just, I think that's crazy. And I think that it's really cool to be a filmmaker right now, because I remember, like, back in 2010 or whatever, like, if you wanted to buy a slider like this, you're gonna have to drop at least a few $100s to get something even close to this kind of quality. Companies like Kessler and Cinovate were kind of the only companies that were making stuff like this, and so you had to shell out like a bunch of money to get something that would get you as smooth of a slide as this, or you would have to make some DIY version of it or something like that. But now I almost think that like the days of having to like make your own DIY stuff are almost over, because it's way easier to just spend 47 bucks and get a really smooth slide with something like this, as opposed just to making something yourself. So I've actually already shot an entire project for a leather company, and I used this slider in a lot of those shots, but I also went out into the woods and got some really nice slides with this. And the way I used it was I put my quick release adapter on the bottom. It does have a metal plate here with a 1/4-20 and 3/8 tapped holes in there, so you can attach your quick release, and then I just attach that to my tripod. And as long as you have pretty steady hands, you can get some really smooth and consistent slides with this guy. I think this is a real bang for your buck slider, and this is honestly the perfect size slider for me, because it'll fit right inside of your backpack. It also comes with a pretty nice carrying case that, I'll be honest, I probably will never use, because I'm just probably going to be putting this directly into one of the side pouches of my backpack. And it also has these little feet, which are really nice because you can actually adjust them to be shorter or higher depending on what kind of ground you put this on. So if you want to get some pretty low shots, that's pretty nice. But for the most part, I'm just going to be using this on my tripod. So again, $47. I think that is a really good deal. And like, honestly, I've never heard of GH3 before, but I'd say that if you're in the market for a short, compact, like travel slider, this is definitely something to look into. Another thing that's kind of cool is that it does have a 1/4-20 tap right here, which almost makes me think that you could attach something right here to the carriage. And if you have like a time-lapse motor, you can connect it to there so that it's not going to disrupt like your tripod head or something like that. So that's honestly really cool, and I think that in the future I'm definitely going to be trying to set up some kind of a time-lapse motor on this thing. But yeah, I mean, this thing will help you get some really nice, smooth linear motion with your video. And honestly, I would say that If you're thinking about getting a friction-based slider or spending money on the ones that have the bearings on the inside of the rails, I would almost recommend this over that, because with sliders like those, if there's any kind of dirt inside of them, it's not going to be a very smooth slide. And if they get, you know, banged up even a little bit, the metal bearings are going to feel that, and you're going to see it in your footage. With these are plastic bearings with carbon fiber, so you don't have to worry about them getting dirty. You can wipe them off a lot easier. And even if they do get small little scuffs, these plastic wheels on the ends aren't really going to feel it that much. So that's one thing that I would definitely say is a pro as far as having one of these. Another thing too is that this is carbon fiber, and it's going to be a lot lighter as opposed to the ones with the rails on the inside and the bearings on the inside of the slider. Those are a lot heavier, and typically they don't come in lengths as short as this one, which I honestly think that, like, you might think that you need a really long slider, but typically the part of the shot that you use isn't actually as long as the slider is. So why not just save yourself some weight, especially if you're, you know, an adventure filmmaker like me, and just get something small so you can just get those slight, subtle movements that still add a lot to your video. Anyways, that was my quick review of the ZECTI 15.7-inch carbon fiber camera slider. I'm gonna have a link to Amazon where you can pick this up. Just a full disclaimer, I was not sent this slider by ZECTI. I paid for this with my own money, and I would definitely say that it was a $47 very well spent. So again, links for this as well as the newer video head will be in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye. Oh, one more thing, if you're interested in any of my LUTs, I'm going to be having a new LUT pack come out pretty soon, and so you can get it on Sellfy, or for $2 you can support me on Patreon each month and get it for free. So yeah, and I'm going to be doing a lot more behind the scenes stuff on Patreon too, so consider supporting me there as well. And I'm also going to be having another tier with more perks and rewards and stuff like that. So if that interests you, I'll have the Patreon link down in the description below, along with all the gear that I use in this video and my Sellfy links. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.